Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a sewer tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 248 Northwest 25th Street here in McMinnville. We're located at the rear of the home. We have a 4-inch cast iron cleanout here as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. Here we go. Looks like it's making a transition here at about 2 feet in over to concrete pipe. We have some kind of Y connection, and given the location of this house, it's at the very end of a street, butted up next to a school. I kind of expected some kind of easement back here. This is only about 5 feet out, and I'm hitting a Y connection here. I'm not sure if this is the terminus of this line or not. I'll keep going here a little further, but there's a good chance that's actually where this line ends at. Looks like we got a root intrusion right here. Pretty large one. And then we hit some kind of terminus here at 55 feet. This would be the, looks like the end of the line here, 55 feet out. But with that Y connection at 5 feet, I would contact the sellers to see if they know what that is exactly. It could be a Y connection onto an easement. Honestly, the house could have, or the line could have only been 5 feet long, and most of that pipe there could have been part of an easement or something of that nature. So if the seller doesn't know, then contact the city. With the line going out the rear like this, there's no doubt some kind of easement contract or something like that, so you could look into where your responsibility starts and stops. But because we don't know that, I'm going to try and locate that root intrusion. It's quite large and will likely cause some problems if given much more time to keep growing. It could cause the debris to block up against it. We are going to let the line drain out here completely before pulling back. And I will do my best to try and locate this spot here, but it is right at the connection to the main lateral here, at 55 feet. Okay, I did locate the camera head successfully. Luckily, the line in its entirety out of 55 feet here is on property. Where it's currently located, if you're looking at the face of the home from the street, the line heads to the rear left corner of the property. It's only about a foot or two from the actual rear left corner or the fence there. I've marked it with a huge white X at 7 feet deep. I do highly recommend a repair there to correct that. With all the big trees back there in that corner, your best option here is probably to do a jet, cut all the roots out of there, and then do a pipeliner, so you don't have to, if you start digging up back there, you're most likely going to kill off those trees. There's multiple different root systems probably grown together there. I think there's a few different trees back there. Luckily, that appeared to be the only root intrusion in this line, which is very, very lucky. Considering the size of those trees and how much concrete pipe goes past them, it's kind of a miracle that there's not roots throughout this entire section here. This is a situation where doing a sleeve to repair that one spot there will do the trick as far as taking care of whatever root intrusion is there currently. What concerns me is that you still have a whole bunch of original concrete pipe in there, which is the most susceptible type of pipe to root intrusion. So what worries me is you may get more root intrusions in the future. So this would be the most cost-effective time if you were to do a full line update, or at least update that last 20 feet or so there with a sleeve. Unfortunately, almost the entire line here is concrete. But it would be the most cost-effective time to fully update while you're already in there doing a spot repair. Okay, we're approaching the Y connection. I'm also going to mark that. I recommend contacting the city or asking a homeowner to see if they know what this is. And to make sure it's conforming and the city's okay with it and all that. It could simply be a rain drain connection. It could be also some kind of easement or party line or something like that. So I'll get this marked with a white Y. It'll just be about 6 feet out from the clean out in the backyard here. Now the Y connection is actually smack dab underneath a couple pavers back here, so I have put a white Y marking in the gravel so you can easily just turn those over when you're done with the marking. I didn't want to spray at the cinder blocks or the pavers. So anyway, the marking is about 6 inches or so beyond, or back or towards the fence line beyond where it's actually sitting over the top of the Y. There's no digging to do here, but that's where it's marked. There's a white Y marking. I would just make sure you know what that is coming from and what it's for. Apart from the root intrusion there at 55 feet, as long as that Y connection there is okay to exist that way, it's not some non-conforming line or something like that. The line itself out to 54 feet is all in good condition. We just have the root intrusion at 55 feet there to deal with currently. And I would recommend, again, you could get bids on both, but with the proximity of some there's 3 medium-sized trees and 1 very large tree back there. I would recommend doing a pipeliner or sleeve to avoid digging into the ground there and cutting through the root balls. If you don't care about the trees, then go right ahead and dig it up, but you will probably have to do some tree removal there in order to do that. I do recommend a rescope after the repair is finished to make sure it was done correctly. So here's our clean out with the lighting here. I know it's kind of hard to see. Our clean out. It goes back over to there where those big trees are at. That's the rear left corner of the property. And then our Y marking is right here. You can clearly see that on the screen there. But anyway, the slope and grade throughout the line is good. We just have the root intrusion. So once the roots are taken care of, the line's going to be functioning great. And it still is currently functioning. There's not massive amounts of debris building up with that root intrusion, but it's a large enough root system that it's going to most likely block the line at some point. So get that fixed.